What's up, y'all? It's your boy GSG sat back with some more Black Ops Cold War for you guys. And today, I do not have gameplay. I have some settings for you guys. I get a lot of people ask me what settings are the best for, graphics, controller, all that good stuff. And today, I'm finally going to provide you guys with the best settings and a few other things to help you guys improve your gameplay, get a little bit more frames, and, keep some quality and, help you hit some more shots. So, let's get into it. Okay, first off, we have graphic settings. For the display mode, I have mine on window full screen, and that's just because I'm a content creator, so I need to be able to access all three of my monitors at any given time. While streaming, I may get alerts and all type of different things. So that's why I have mine on window full screen. But if you are not a content creator or you don't need to access all your monitors at once, I would definitely recommend full screen just because it gives you the lowest latency and less screen tearing and a few other things. So definitely, if you can, run full screen at all times. That is always going to be recommended to you by anybody. Moving on to gameplay and menu VSync. I personally have these both disabled just because it limits your frame rate to stop if you're having the issue of screen tearing, which I know some people may have that issue. So if you are having that issue, definitely turn it on. If you are not having that issue, disable it. Moving on to NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency, I have mine on normal. So if you have a 20 series graphics card or a 30 series graphics card, it is recommended to have it on normal. If you have a 10 series or later graphics card, you would want to have this on boosted, just because you would get a extra boost of performance with those later model graphics cards. If you have a 20 series or a 30 series, you really won't see much of a impact on gameplay or improvement, so it is recommended to just run it at normal. For render resolution, always run it at 100% or whatever your monitor is capable of, but I definitely would not recommend trying to run this game at 4K even if you have a very strong gameplay, because the higher your resolution, the lower your frames are going to be. So always run it at 100% or 1440p to 1080p. So whichever one you prefer. I mean, it's your game, you can do whatever you want to, but as far as performance wise, just run it at 100% or 1080p. Moving on to aspect ratio, just have it on automatic. I don't really know. People, I guess you can change it if you want to, if you have a ultra wide monitor or something like that, but yeah, just put it on automatic, leave it there, and we'll be fine. Okay, now we have the actual display settings. For the colorblind modes, I mean, you can leave it as default, but a lot of people, including me, like to change it up, give different colors. Sometimes you may like different colors just because they look good, and sometimes they can help improve your gameplay. So personally, I have my enemies on a light green color just because, a light green will obviously be able to see easier, and it won't blend into pretty much anything in this game, honestly. So that light green color will definitely give you a pop and help you see enemies easier, but it's really just personal preference. That's just what I thought would help me, so that's what I did. Moving on to field of view, I personally play on 95. I think it's a sweet spot. A lot of people play either from 90 to 100. If you're going outside of that, it can sort of not help you. It's personal preference, but if you're playing Warzone or something like that, I guess you could run it at 120, but I would not do that, especially if I'm playing like league play or 8 or something competitive. I would definitely not run it that high. I mean, your recoil will be lower, but objects and things will be further away from you, so it'll be harder for you to see, if that makes sense. So definitely don't run it too high and don't run it too low, because if you run it at the default 80, which all consoles run it at by default, you'll be seeing less things. So give it to about 90 to 100. Find your sweet spot, whatever works for you. For the ADS field of view, I have it on affected. Independent can be nice for some people, but I run affected just because it syncs to your field of view, so it makes things seem more accurate and feel right and comfortable. Independent is slightly more loose, if that makes sense. So it's not exactly restrained to your field of view. But vehicle field of view, I don't really play any of the game modes that really use the vehicle field of view. I guess that one's sort of up to you and whatever you want to do. But next we got brightness. I just have mine on 50%. It just works for me. Some people may want to turn theirs up lower, some turn theirs up higher, and some people may want to put theirs lower, depending on if you can see like certain shadows or corners or something like that. It's just personal preference, but me, I just keep it on 50. It's been working for me so far, so I just keep it there. For the frame rate limit, I have mine on unlimited, and I have my gameplay custom frame rate locked to 250, the menu to 60, and the minimized game frame rate to 60. You can run it on custom and have everything, you know, turned up to the max, but you'll be putting unnecessary stress on your graphics card. Like, you're not doing anything in the menu, so it's kind of pointless to do that. But yeah, for me, I have mine just set to this. I could set mine up to 280, which my monitor is capable of running, but when I stream, I don't get anywhere close to that, so I just left it at the 250 mark. I max out at about 200 or something sometimes when I'm streaming, so I wouldn't necessarily need it to be up that high. But yeah, also limiting your frame rate can help your gameplay, because sometimes when you have your frame rate too high, it may cause screen tearing, stuttering, and stuff like that. So, you know, just play around with it, see what works for you. If you want to run it at the max, go ahead. But me, nah, I don't do that. I just have it on the certain marks that I have. Now we are moving on to details and textures. I have my texture quality and model quality set to low. That just for the best frame rates, and I still have, you know, pretty good quality, even though it says low quality. It's not bad. Like, I can see things very good, and it's not like super jagged edges or anything like that. It's still a, you know, a good quality, and it helps me keep my frame rates up, because, you know, I'm playing competitive. I want to play, you know, with the best experience I can get. So definitely put this on low to keep those frame rates up, and it definitely won't affect your quality and as far as visually too much. And yeah, that's it for that. So moving on to HD game textures and models. If you don't know how to install that, you are not alone, because clicking that button will not show you where to go to install that. So I will show you guys later in the video where to go to install that. It really doesn't help too much. I just have it installed anyway, but it is more for like 4K gaming and stuff like that. So if you don't have the 4K interface textures on your thing, that's why, because you don't have the HD game textures installed. So don't worry if you don't see this right here. For special effects quality, I have this on medium. For a screen space reflection, I have it on low. I really don't see a difference with any of the other settings. It don't really do nothing for me. So I recommend it's on low or disable, whichever one. For the object view distance, I have this on high, because I definitely want to see things far away from me, especially playing competitive. I want to be able to see every little, you know, corner, you know, every head glitch. I want to be able to see everything. So I'm not exactly sure if it affects that in particular, but I definitely don't want to take the chance of not being able to see something far away. So I have that personally on high. For water tessellation, you can disable that. I mean, if you want to see water quality, I guess you can have it on, but for competitive purposes, just disable it. Moving on to shadow and lighting. For the volumetric lighting, it just affects the sun and the light beams, as it obviously says, but you shouldn't really be looking at the sun too much. So I really don't think that's too important if that is exactly what it affects. It may just affect lighting overall in the game, but I just have it on low. Most people are going to tell you to put it on low, because it's really not that important unless, you know, you're just trying to have the best visual picture you can possibly get. So for competitive purposes, put it on low. Shadow quality, you should also put that on low. I mean, if you can see a shadow, you're good. You don't really need the most high quality shadow unless you're, like I said, going for that visual quality instead of a performance or competitive advantage. So just put that on low. For dynamic shadows, I have that on all because obviously you can see an enemy player's shadow coming around a corner. So you want to have that on. You may be able to see your shadow and to see if they can see yours. If you're, you know, playing search or something and you have a angle, if they can see your shadow, you may die. So definitely want to turn dynamic shadows on. For the special effect shadows, that just has to do with explosions and stuff like that. You can see the thing blow up, so we don't really need that to be enabled. So yeah, definitely turn that off. Weapon shadow is sort of like dynamic shadows. For your weapon, you know, you can see the shadow, so you may want that enabled. I personally have it enabled just because I want to be able to see my weapon shadow, and maybe somebody else's. I may die, it may help me kill somebody else, you know. That's something that can help me, so definitely want to have that enabled. For ray tracing, have this all disabled. You don't need it as far as competitive or performance wise. I have these all disabled, but like I said, if you're going for the visual quality, definitely turn it up to as high as your computer can go, or PC, or like everybody else that's going for performance, which I would assume most people are. If you're coming to check out this video, have all of these disabled. And moving on down, for the NVIDIA DLSS, that has the same thing to do with this ray tracing stuff. Have that disabled. For anti-aliasing quality, okay, a lot of people run this at lowest. I personally do not run it at lowest just because I don't like the effect it has on certain things. When I play, stuff starts to look a little jagged. The quality of things isn't too great, so I don't run it on lowest. Right now I have it on ultra just because I want to have the smoothest lines. You know, I want things to look good, and especially for a content creator's point of view, I want the best image to get to my viewers. So I have it on ultra right now. Most of the time I either have it on medium or ultra because those are the best two to me. But if you're going for a frames or performance, you want to have that on lowest or low. That's what most people are going to recommend to you, and that's what I'm going to recommend to you. So performance wise, go with lowest or low, and for a mixture of quality and performance, go with medium or ultra. For the ambient occlusion quality, I have this one disabled. Motion blur disabled. Definitely don't want motion blurring when you're trying to play competitively, or, you know, just play overall. Motion blur just obviously makes stuff blurry. That can't possibly be good in most gunfights, so definitely turn that off. Don't have that on. If you have motion blur on, I don't know why you have that on. Don't do it. For motion blur quality, low, like I said. Don't turn motion blur on. Please don't do it, for everybody's sake, especially your teammates. They don't want you out here dying because you got motion blur. Just turn that off, please. For subsurface scattering, another thing that doesn't really affect stuff too much, you know, it's just one of these quality things. I have that on disabled. For order, independent transparency, have that disabled. For advanced, we have the VRAM usage target. I have mine on low right now just because I stream and game off the same PC, and I have a few other background things going. So I want a good amount of VRAM being used by the game, but I also don't want to, you know, affect my stream or my other things in the background going too much to where my other things aren't being able to get as much VRAM as they can. So I have this on low, but if you can, put it all the way up to the max, all the way up to high. I would recommend that. You know, you get better performance, but it may cause a little hitching. So, you know, just play around with it, see what works for you. You know, play a few hours, see if you have any issues. If not, keep it on high. If you are having a little issues, turn it down to default or low. But for content creators, I would recommend just putting it at 70 because it you won't really see a drop in performance at all, really. So because I've been playing on high, medium, I've tried them all out, really don't see much of a performance difference. So for most people, just keep it on default or high. For the display gamma, everybody just run on the computer or sRGB, because that's for computers and monitors, obviously. And if you have a TV, run the other one. Let's see. And the last one, display adapter. You can leave it on auto select, but I'm not sure. I don't have a Intel CPU which have integrated graphics cards into them. So I would not leave that on auto select, even though it probably would select the right thing. I just would not do it. For a display adapter, always select your graphics card. That'll be your best bet. So whatever graphics card you have in there, or the most powerful one, if you have more than one graphics card in your setup, select whatever graphics card to specify which one you want to be used on the game. Okay, now we've made it to game sound. So for my master volume, I have it set to 85 because, how should I put this? So for master volume, I have it set to 85 just because I don't want my ears and my viewers' ears to get blown off because they want to make a loud game. So yeah, just test that out. If you want it at 100, personal preference. Me personally, I have it at 85. For a sound effects volume, I have that set to 100. I'm not exactly sure what this one does. I probably has something to do with like grenades and bullets, you know, flying across your head or something like that. So I have that set to 100. The dialogue volume, I have that set to 70 because I'm pretty sure that's the characters in the game, and you don't want that too loud because if your dialogue is too loud, you may not be able to hear, you know, some footsteps or something like that. So you don't want to have it all the way up to the max just because that may affect you in certain gunfights, certain situations. So I wouldn't recommend putting it to 100. Definitely try out 70 where I have it at. For the cinematic volume, I have that set to 100. Like I said, not exactly sure what that does specifically, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with some type of explosives or vehicles or something like that. So I have that set to 100. It really doesn't affect me too much, so you can just leave it like it is. For the audio preset, I have mine set to high boost, which it gives me a pretty good sound overall. I've figured out that this one gives me the best overall quality of sound with hearing footsteps, you know, being able to tell how far somebody is, where the bullets are coming from. So I would definitely recommend everybody try out high boost if you're trying to figure out a audio preset to use. I've heard of people using super bass boost too, which I've tried it out. It was pretty good, but I like high boost more overall, so that's the one I stick with. For the hit marker sound effects, definitely should keep that enabled so you know your shots are actually hitting and you're not missing. So yeah, that's it for that. Moving on to voice chat. I mean, all this stuff is personal preference, so we can skip that. Okay, so we made it to controller setting, what I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys were really looking forward to seeing in this video, trying to figure out what controller settings am I using, because I know I've had a lot of people ask me. So here you guys go. I'm not a keyboard and mouse player, so I will not know what to tell you about keyboard and mouse. I'll be the last person to tell you about that. I'm gonna have your gameplay all types of messed up, so definitely do not listen to me about no keyboard and mouse. I ain't even about to tell you what to put for keyboard and mouse, but for the controller, I got you. All right, so for the horizontal and the vertical sensitivity, I have mine set to 6.6. A lot of people are running 6.6 right now. For me, I personally just go with 6.6 to 7.7. I really don't go outside of that. You definitely don't want to be running too low of a sensitivity because you'll be obviously turning way too slow and losing a lot of gunfights because people in this game are moving pretty quick. Things is fast paced, so definitely don't have that too high. I'm not one of the high sense guys either. Some people love running at a high sense. Me, no, I'm not running at that, and competitively I would not ever try to run that high because, you know, our eyes are only capable of so much. If I'm turning on 20 cents all over the place, I probably will miss little details. Somebody may be on a little head glitch and I might be able to barely see them on 6.6, so I know I probably wouldn't be able to see them on 2020. So for this game, I would recommend running 6.6 to 6.7. For the ADS sensitivity, I have mine at 9. I definitely don't go outside of about 0.8 to 1, so definitely stick with those, you know, test them out. I mean, if you need a more stiff sensitivity, you can go a little bit lower, but as far as I would go, it might be like 0.7 and not above 1. I've seen people run like 1.1, but me personally, I just stick between 8 and to 1, depending on how my shot is that day. So just to have a good even, you know, middle ground, I keep mine at 9 for right now. For the button layout, I just have that as default. I do not play flipped or anything. I have a an Xbox Elite controller, so I can remap my buttons and do all types of stuff with that. So I really don't need to do anything as far as the buttons on here. But if you want to play with your bumpers, especially if you're a PlayStation player, having your buttons flipped to the L1 and R1 can help you be quicker, especially if you don't have like trigger stoppers like from a SCUF or Elite controller. Having the front bumpers be your aiming and shooting will definitely improve your quickness and response time to in gunfights. So give that a try if you want to be able to you know, shoot faster or aim faster without having to pay for a SCUF or an Elite controller. I do not play on inverted. For aim response curve, I have mine set to dynamic. Most people are either going to run standard or dynamic. Personally, I prefer the dynamic. It just works well for how I play. I just love everything that it does as far as the aiming response, because it's quicker at times and then it smooths out and slows down. So I would recommend to everybody, try out standard and dynamic, see which one works for you. Maybe you can try out linear. I've never tried linear, and I don't really know that many people that have tried linear. So for this video, I'm just gonna say go with dynamic as the main one, and then try out standard if you're not really feeling dynamic. For controller vibration, always have that turned off. You should not be running vibration on unless you just really want some type of immersiveness into the game. Have that controller vibration off. It can, you know, throw off your aim or something in a gunfight. I know when I have my vibration on, I can feel it. So I know I didn't got hit with a grenade or I'm getting shot. But obviously I have a headset on, so I don't need the controller vibration because I know I'm getting shot. It's pretty unnecessary, really. So definitely turn that off if you want to you know, play at your best. Let's see, for gameplay, target aim assist enabled. For the target aim assist mode, I have mine on standard. I have tried legacy. It's more of a Warzone type of feel. It's a lot more stiff and you get a lot more aim assist, and sometimes it can throw your aim off. I know sometimes I'll play and I can feel it grabbing onto certain things that I can't exactly see. Sometimes it grabs stuff through walls for some odd reason. It's a weird feeling. So sometimes I run it, but lately I have turned that off because I don't want that. It's like an extra boost of aim assist, and I don't want that. But most people are either running legacy or standard. I prefer standard. For ADS aim assist, I always have this enabled, obviously. For the airborne mantle, I have that on manual because sometimes I'll, you know, be in a gunfight or somebody like, you know, pop up around the corner. I'll have the habit of jumping or something and it'll make me mantle onto a ledge or something. So I have this turned off just because I don't want any type of, you know, unnecessary mantling, because if you've ever been in a situation like that, it is very, very annoying. So put that on manual. For ground mantle behavior, I have that on press. Let's see, aim down sight behavior, hold, obviously. But armor, this stuff's not really affecting most stuff in the game. I guess for Warzone and other little game modes, I guess it could. But yeah, just keep these two on hold, you'll be fine. Okay, for stick layout, I have it on default. I'm not a southpaw player. Legacy, that's just not my thing. But for the thresholds over here, this can be a little bit tricky. I know I've heard people say they're by default when they got the game, it was set to 20 on certain things. That is way too high. You want to have it as low as possible as you can without having any thumbstick drift. This is really what this setting is for the thumbstick drift issue. A lot of people, including me, have experienced thumbstick drift, and it is the most annoying thing in the world. I have replaced controllers, countless controllers, because of this issue, and I'm so glad that they put a feature in this game to help stop that and me unnecessarily having to replace controllers over and over. So if you're having a thumbstick drift issue, turn this up, but I really wouldn't recommend having this higher than maybe like 6 or something. So anything lower than that is good. Definitely don't have that up too high, because your input, or it's going to be a little latency in your response time because you have it up so high. But if you're having a thumbstick drift issue, turn it up. If not, keep it as low as you can without having any thumbstick drift. For the maximum, I would just recommend it on 99. Everybody has it on 99. I'm pretty sure that's default, so just keep it there. Don't mess with it. 99 is the best. Let's see. Moving down, I have auto sprint disabled for competitive reasons. Pretty sure it might be GA. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure auto sprint needs to be disabled, so I just have it disabled, and that's just what I'm used to anyway. And I think that might be it. The reload behavior, you might be able to change that to personal preference, but I just have it on tap to reload. I don't really think I want to hold the button to reload. So yeah, that's it for the controller settings. And I really hope you guys enjoyed all of my settings that I gave you guys today. I hope you guys check them out, see what works for you. I hope I really could have helped somebody change their gameplay and, you know, get an extra frame, you know, hit a few more shots. Hopefully I helped you guys out today. But now I will be showing you a couple things you can do on your computer to help improve performance. And I will show you guys how to install the 4K textures and all that type of stuff. But yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so to finish off the video, I want to give you guys a few extra tips or things that can help improve your performance and get you a few extra frames. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is to right click on your game or whatever program you're trying to help get some extra performance. In this case, Cold War. Or you should go to whatever file or whatever location you have this game saved, right click it, go to properties, go to compatibility, and scroll on down to change settings for all users. Click that, then run this program for as an administrator, and disable full screen optimization should be checked. Those two things will help you get more resources, and I give your game a higher priority and also give you a few extra frames. Now the next tip I will give you is to right click, go to display settings, go all the way down to graphic settings. Then right here you should have hardware accelerated GPU scheduling checked, and you should browse. Click this browse button and then find whatever program or game that you want to run at a higher performance, and find it in here. Once you find it, click it and then push add. I already have the game added, so I don't need to do that. Then once it's in here, you want to click options. Then you want to make sure you have this set to high performance. That is one thing that will definitely help you out a little bit more, just to get you those extra frames that I'm sure everybody's looking for. And the last tip that I will give you guys is to go back to display. All you have to do is push back and go to advanced display settings. Then click whatever display you play your game on. Make sure it's the right one. And then make sure you have your refresh rate set to the maximum that it can be. Sometimes it won't be on here. You may have to go onto the NVIDIA control panel or the AMD control panel, whatever graphics card you have, and change it in there and then change it on here. But make sure you have this set to the highest refresh rate possible on your monitor. I have mine set to this right now because when I run it at 280, it sort of gets a little, you know, sketchy. Some things just don't run so right like they should. But anyway, with all that being said, I really appreciate you guys for coming to check out this video. Do not forget to hit that sub button, leave a like, share, all that good stuff. I really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me. Definitely make sure you come and check out the streams. I do stream at 9 o'clock almost every other day, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So definitely check out all of my channels. I stream on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time, and I would love to see all of you guys coming to check out the stream. But with all that being said, I really appreciate you guys for checking out this video, and I hope to see you guys checking out some more and coming to check out the stream. But thank you guys so much, and GG.